Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. We're really grateful that you guys took the time to be here to learn more about Deluxe France and hear from our wonderful partner, Moatez. Before we get started, just a quick note. If you do have any questions, please feel free to put them down in the Q&A section below. And then we'll make sure at the end of the webinar, after Motez is done telling us all the great things that Deluxe is doing, we will make sure to answer all of your questions. With that, it is my pleasure to hand it over to one of my good friends and one of the owners of Deluxe, Motez.
Thank you, Mackenzie. First, thank you all for joining this webinar. So I'm Moatez, one of the owners of Deluxe France. So some of you may heard about us already, as we are with Lush for many years now. I think we're working with Brad for 17 years now, so it's been quite a long time. So as you know, we are very accustomed to the US market. We're part of Virtuoso, we're part of Internova. So today, I'm not going to go through all the services that we can provide. I'm going to explain a few of them, but I will mainly explain how it's the best to work with us. What are the different tools that we give to the travel advisors in order to make your work more efficient? What I usually say is that we are on the same boat as a DMC on our side and as an agency, travel advisors on the other side. It's the fact that we want the clients to be happy, we want to make some money, and we want to avoid 300 back and forth emails. So I'm going to go through all these little details on all the tools that we give you in order to make the process more efficient. So first of all, our company was launched 23 years ago as a private touring and private transportation company. We have developed our company through the years as a DMC, but we kept the specificity of having our own luxury car fleet all around France. So Paris, Provence, French Riviera, Normandy, and so on, most of the region we are covering. And we have our own team of English-speaking drivers, knowledgeable drivers, driver guides, and license guides. These have the fact of having our own team on the ground. So once again, these are our own employees. It's not like a service provider, it's our own employees. So it has many advantages. First, we have a better control on the profile that will be handling your clients. I think that you know that in general, the services and the drivers or the driver guides that will handle your clients will be one of the best souvenirs that your clients will get. So for example, if your clients are looking for a license guide that is family friendly, we know who in the team will be more adapted to this kind of requests. So, and not only kid friendly, it can be somebody that is very fun and young, very formal. We can adapt that. So when you work with a DMC that will work with a service provider, you don't really know at the end who will be handling your clients. So this is one of the advantage. Other advantage, it's the fact that sometimes you may have last minute requests. For these last minute requests, we have our own team and we have a whole network also of independent drivers and driver guides. So even for the last minute, we almost all the time have a solution for the clients. So this is another advantage. Last advantage, it's the fact that we're pretty renowned in the business for being very quick in answering. Because once again, the fact of providing lots of services ourselves, it helps a lot in order to get the quotation much more easily. You don't need to wait for a few days in order to get some answer from providers. It can be the case sometimes, but for the majority of the service that we do internally, we're pretty quick in answering. So these are the different advantages of having our own team. So I'm going to go quickly through the different profile for everything that we do internally. We have the English-speaking drivers for everything that is private transportation and private transfers. Then we have the knowledgeable drivers. So the knowledgeable drivers are only doing touring, but they're not licensed guide. You know, in France or in Europe in general, in order to guide inside of a museum, you need a special card of a licensed guide. So this knowledgeable driver doesn't have the licensed guide license. However, they are doing tours all year round. These are profiles that are more adapted for a tour in Provence, where you're going to see small villages, lavender fields, wineries, and so on, or the French Riviera, or a panoramic tour of Paris, that is a highlights tour of Paris. With the kids, maybe they don't want so many details about the history. Knowledgeable driver is the first step. I mean, the first type of profile. It's the less expensive one in terms of touring. Then you have the driver guide, only one person. So these drivers are also licensed guide. So they are able to go much more deeper and much more into details, into the history, into the dates. They can guide inside of museums. So this can be good for a tour of Versailles or a World War II site in Normandy, for example. Then you have the option of a driver plus a guide that we highly recommend when you have clients in Paris that want to do during a touring day, maybe a museum, the Louvre, Orsay, or the Eiffel Tower. You know that parking in Paris is quite a nightmare, so we usually recommend to have a driver plus a guide. And then the last profile is the license guide. You just meet your license guide in front of the Louvre for a food tour, for a fashion tour, all the walking tours and museum tours. So these are the different profiles. We usually recommend you, depending on the type of tours, the kind of profile that we recommend. It can also depend on the budget of the client. So this is for the profile that we do internally. Then we are a full DMC, so we cover all the services as a DMC can provide, from hotels, apartments in Paris, and villas, mainly in Provence and the French Riviera. So for hotels, it's not mandatory to book the hotels with us. I know that many of you have direct contact with great hotels in France and you may want to book the hotels on your side. It's totally fine for us. We can completely give you also the hotel quotations. What is important to know, and I know it's sometimes a bit confusing, but we prefer to be completely transparent concerning the hotels. In France, the commission of hotels are very low, between 10, 15%, sometimes, but very rarely 20%. If we book the hotels for your clients, we're going to keep the commission for us. So if you add your markup on the top of that, we're going to be over the public rates. So two options, either you book the hotels on your site, or if you want us to book the hotel, usually it's when the travel advisors are giving a total amount to the client and not breakdown prices. Concerning villas and apartments, so we don't have a huge collection because we work directly with owners of villas in the south of France and apartments in Paris. So it's also a great option to consider for your clients. Then, in terms of the tool that we give you in order to be more efficient, the first thing is that there is no minimum to work with us. Sometimes you have a client, you book the hotel for them, they know Paris already, they don't need any kind of touring, they just need a VIP meet and greet service and an airport transfer, and that's it. Or sometimes it can be a much more complex itinerary with different destinations in France, including the hotels or not, as I said previously, including cooking class, fashion tour, boat tour, all the different services that you can imagine. So there is no minimum and everything is a la carte because we give you the breakdown prices. Once again, giving you the breakdown prices is a way to avoid 300 back and forth emails. You may want to show the total amount to your clients. The clients may get back to you and say, oh, you know what? I don't want the cooking class. You don't need to send us an email that we may receive during the night with a time difference. You're going to wait the next day to get the answer. So it's lots of time that we lose. So that's why you have the breakdown prices. Either you give directly the breakdown prices to the clients, or you give the total amount. And in case they want to skip some of the services, you don't need us to know what will be the total amount. So this is one of the way to avoid back and forth emails. what we highly recommend, and I think that we should all consider that more and more, mainly for complex itinerary or for undecided clients. You have these type of clients that are hesitating between, oh, should I combine Paris plus Normandy, or maybe Provence, or maybe Champagne? They're not really decided on that. And most of the time, when it's through emails, it's lots of back and forth emails. So in that case, what we recommend for complex itineraries or undecided clients, it's to do a call with you, travel advisors, and with your clients. Maybe we're going to be like an hour during this call, but I can guarantee you that this is going to save lots of back and forth emails. First, second, even if the clients are trusting you 100% as a travel advisors, the fact of meeting the local experts will make them feel much more, even more comfortable. And I realize that every time we do calls, clients are committing to the bookings much more easily. So it's something that I really, really highly recommend is to do these calls, even if it's late for us in France. I personally usually do the calls. And then I will give all the information to my team, and then my team will handle all the different details in order to create the itinerary. So for creating the itinerary, we are using Travefy. So I know that some of you are using Access, some of you are using Travefy. So we are using Travefy, completely personalized document for you. We can put the logo of your agency also. As I said, we don't put the rates on the Travefy document. We're going to give you the breakdown prices on the body of the email so that you have the flexibility to show to your clients the breakdown or the total price. So this is the general idea of how to work together. And the last thing that I want to show you, I'm going to share my screen right now so you can see our website. So the website deluxefrance.com was really designed for the travel advisors. What I forgot to mention, and that is very important, it's the fact that we don't take any B2C business. We only take business from travel advisors. So the idea of this website is really done as a tool for you as a travel agent in order to get ideas, to propose things to your clients. You don't need any login to get inside of this information. It's open to everybody. It's only that if you're not a travel advisor, if you contact us, we're going to tell the clients actually, sorry, but we only work with travel advisors. And it happens sometimes that people are contacting us. We say, sorry, we only work with travel advisors, and they ask us to recommend a travel advisors in the US. As we know lots of travel advisors in the US, we always recommend that. So sometimes we may bring you some business also. How to deal with this website? Once again, the idea is to avoid back and forth emails. So you can see that you have all the regions, obviously, where you're going to have the most booking will be in Paris. And you can see that there are different categories from boat cruise. Well, Christmas tours are just over now. Cooking class, family friendly, fashion tour, food tour, museum tour, sightseeing, unique and bespoke, walking and biking tours, and wine tours. The general ideas, let's say your clients are coming to you and say, oh, I want to go to Paris for sure. And for sure, what I want to do is to do a boat cruise. Instead of you sending us an email asking, oh, what kind of boat cruise can you propose? You go on the website, you go to one of these or even all of these private tours, and you can show them a totally detailed itinerary of the experience. So you have the introduction, you have the highlight of the tour, you have a full description, you have some pictures, you have some local tips that we give you that are really important to read, and what is included and not included. And so, once again, the idea, instead of what can you propose, you copy paste the link of this website, you send that to the client, or here are a few ideas of things that can be done as boat tours. And they may tell you, oh, okay, I want to do this river boat, or I want to do the electric boat, or whatever. And it's the same for all the regions and for all the type of services. So, for example, I was talking about the food tours. Once again, instead of, oh, my clients are interested in food tours, maybe they would like a chocolate and pastry or a cheese and wine food tour. It's not going to be the same thing. Or a luxury gourmet tour. Once again, there are no rates mentioned on the website, so you can really copy paste, send that to the clients, and then you get back to us and you say, okay, here is what they want. What are the dates? What are the rates? What are the availabilities? How we can eventually personalize everything, because all the services that we put on the website can be completely personalized. It's not something that is preset and that can't change at all. I'm gonna get back, for example, to give you a good example of that. I'm gonna get back to the boat tours, and I'm gonna show you how things can be personalized. So recently we had a family of 6 people, and among this family you had a couple and they were not married. And the guy discreetly asked us before coming to Paris, I would like to do my wedding proposal while I will be in Paris. So we organized like a classic walking tour of Paris with a licensed guide. And they were having a walk next to the Seine. Suddenly, one of these wooden boats came next to them. The couple went on the boat with red roses, with champagne. And so they went on a private cruise, only the couple. And when they arrived next to the bridge, one of the bridge, a huge sign was put it and say, "Would you marry me?" And we had a photographer that took the pictures of this moment. So it's just to show you that this is the description of the classic tour, the an hour and a half to 2 hours private cruise, but we can always make it even more special for your clients. So don't hesitate to ask us for any kind of scenario, any kind of things that you want to do. So it's the same for all the regions, Provence, French Riviera, Normandy. I'm not going to go through all these details because it's going to be too long and a bit boring, but don't hesitate to use that as a tool. Sometimes some of the very exclusive services that we can provide are not listed on the website because it's very exclusive. I'm going to give you one example for to organize, for example, private breakfast at the top of the Arc de Triomphe. This is one of the things that we don't put on the website because it's not for everybody. It's quite costly, but we have very exclusive experiences to propose also that won't be mentioned on the website. So don't hesitate when you have very special requests for that. Um, I think this is pretty it about the presentation of the website and the general presentation. I don't want to make it too long and too boring. So I just wanted to introduce the general idea of how to work together. Um, I'm going to stop the screen, and maybe Mackenzie, I don't know if you have any questions on your side, maybe that you want me to answer.
Um, as a reminder, if you guys do have any questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A section. I loved if anyone hasn't seen the video that Deluxe France put out recently on their website, if you just pull it up and scroll
Ah,
down,
yes.
you want to pull it up.
Yes.
That's a great video, and it really outlines
I don't know
you
if the
guys and
sound, I don't know if the
personality.
sound will be on. Tell me if it's
Okay.
going. Okay, so it's actually I would say a fun.
I feel like the video really highlights your team's personality and what you guys can offer to clients as well. Um, are you sharing the screen, Moatez? In the case that we cannot pull it up, we'll make sure to send it in a link in our follow-up so you guys will be able to um, see and access that video as well, along with a link to the Deluxe France website.
Yeah, it didn't
Um,
work. I didn't, it didn't work, the video.
you're not sharing your screen currently. We can't see your screen, Tez.
Ah, you can't see. Okay, it's strange.
We want to try it one more time.
It was working before. I don't know why it doesn't work now. Um, anyway, I will send you anyway the link on the follow-up emails because I don't know
Absolutely.
why it doesn't work.
As of right now, we don't have any current questions, but please feel free to reach out to Moatez directly, myself, anyone from the Lush team. We're more than happy to answer any questions you may have, point you in the right direction, and we'll also be sending you a copy of this webinar that you can refer back to if you do have any questions or want to send it to any of your colleagues. Oh, we do have one question from Maureen. She says, I understand that you handle deluxe. I have clients, 6 people, needing a private day tour, Normandy round trip with transfer to Paris. Could you do a moderate price? So, how's your pricing? Can it range? Are you guys flexible?
Actually, we were doing a little bit like the hotels. It means that if it's a request for March, it's going to be less expensive than if it's a request for June. Unfortunately, I know that most of the people are traveling in May and June. So first of all, we're doing lots of these tours going from Paris to Normandy, either within a day trip or sometimes it can be within 2, 3 days that they are doing that. The difference in the prices will be mainly, as I explained in earlier, in the type of profile that will be handling your clients. So a knowledgeable driver will have less knowledge than a driver guide, but will be less expensive than a driver guide. So to give you an idea, for 6 packs, the tour from Paris is about 13 hours drive, so it's a long day. If it's a knowledgeable driver, we're going to be around 1,400 euro. If it's a driver guide, it's going to be a little less than 2,000 euros for
Okay.
6 packs.
And that remains the same in October?
In October, October is still very busy. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
going to be almost the same rate. Yeah. It's only, I would say, the low seasons is November, December, January, February, March till mid-April, more or less.
perfect. And then your property rentals, are those listed online?
The prices are not listed online, no, because as we give net rates, we offer you the flexibility of adding the amount or the commission that you want on the top of the net rates. That's why we don't put rates on the website.
Beautiful. That looks
And
like
I see another question regarding the properties. The property rentals, no, they are not listed online because as we work with owners, we don't put that online. We don't want that to be put in online, so it's only on request.
yeah, beautiful. Well, as of right now, it looks like all of our questions. Again, if you do have any more later on today or throughout the week, please feel free to reach out to, again, either myself or Motus directly, and we're more than happy to help or point you in the right direction. Um,
I will send you to all of you anyway follow-up emails with my details, with a bit of sum up of what we discussed, and the link to the video also. So you will have everything on this follow-up email.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. See you later.
Thank you. Au revoir. Bye.